right, so we got the notes for arithmetic operations on complex numbers. So there are 4 arithmetic operations: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So for addition, we just drop our parentheses, combine like terms. For subtraction, we have to distribute the negative through the second set of parentheses, then combine like terms. Multiplication, is FOIL, first, outside, inside, last, so distributive property. However, our answer cannot have an I squared in it, so we need to remember that I squared is -1, so that last term will change sign and the I squared will disappear. Then combine like terms. Division is kind of the trickiest, so because we need to get rid of the I that's on the bottom of the fraction. We do that by multiplying by what's referred to as the complex conjugate. So complex conjugates differ by the sign in the middle, so a plus bi and a minus bi are conjugates. So we're just going to FOIL across the top and bottom, and then it's going to work like a multiplication problem that we then have to simplify at the end. So let's look at some examples. All right, so the first 4 here are just addition and subtraction. So for number 1, since it's an addition problem, we can just drop our parentheses. So -10 minus 3i plus -7 minus 5i, and then combine like terms. So that's going to be -17, -10 plus -7, -3 minus 5, -8i. 9, same thing, addition, so I can just drop my parentheses, then combine like terms. So 14 for the numbers, 2i for the i's. So for subtraction, on the first set, the parentheses do just drop, but in the second set, that negative sign has to distribute. So let's make a +2 and -3i. So all in, that's 9 plus 7i. And for our last one, same thing, distribute the negative. So 6 plus 9i plus 3 plus I. So for a total of 9 plus 10i. Okay, so now we got multiplication. So multiplication is a FOIL problem, first, outside, inside, lasts. So firsts would be 9 times 6, so that's 54. Outside's 9 times I. Inside, 7i times 6. And lasts, 7i times I. So 7i squared. Now, so the note on the front is we can't have our answer with I squared. If you look at the directions, simplify the expression to a plus bi form. There is no I squared, so that I squared can't be there. So the reminder is the I squared is -1. So 54 plus 9i plus 42i plus 7 times -1. 54 plus 9i plus 42i minus 7. So usually we kind of skip writing this step because I squareds are always -1, so they will always change the sign in front. And then from here, it's combining like terms. So 54 minus 7, 47. That's going to be 51i. All right, so for 6, distribute. So we have -12 for the firsts, -36i for the outsides, -6i for the insides, and -18i squareds for the lasts. I squared is equal to -1, so we change the sign in front and it disappears. So that's 6 minus 42i after like terms. So quantity squared, where the squared is outside the parentheses, just means that you have 2 copies of the parentheses, and that still is a FOIL. So first would be 4, outside 6i, insides 6i, and lasts 9i squared. I squared disappears, so -9, and then combine like terms, so -5 plus 12i. And then our last one down here would be, let's see here, so firsts would be -42, outsides 56i, insides -12i, and lasts +16i squared. So that's going to be -42 plus 56i minus 12i minus 16. So -58 for our numbers, plus 44 for our i's. All right, so last ones we got here are divisions. Oops, got an extra sheet there. So when we are dividing, so to do division, we multiply by the conjugate. So the conjugate has the same terms as the denominator, except the sign in the middle is different. So for this one, that's going to be -3 minus 7i. Now we have to do on the top and bottom because we can't change the value of a fraction. And if we multiply by the same thing on top and bottom, the value of the fraction does not change. So that's a FOIL across the top, FOIL across the bottom. So that's going to be negative 72. Oh dear, I don't know what that number is. 24 times 7. 8, carry the 2, 168. So negative 72 minus 168i for the outsides. Insides are negative 6i. And lasts are going to be negative 14i squared. On the bottom, 9 plus 21i minus 21i minus 49i squared. So just a note about the bottom, those middle two terms should always be opposites. That's actually the point of the conjugate. It makes the I terms go away. So it's negative 72 minus 168i minus 6i plus 14. All over, those two cancel, 9 plus 49. So negative 58 minus 174i all over 58, and then we reduce our fractions if possible. So negative 58 divided by 58 is negative 1. Negative 174 divided by 58 is negative 3. So that would be my solution, negative 1 minus 3i. So for 10, the conjugate would be 6 minus 5i. All we do is change the sign in the middle. So first would be 60, outsides, negative 50i, insides, negative 36i, and lasts, positive 30i squared. On the bottom, 36 minus 30i plus 30i minus 25i squared. So 60 minus 50i minus 36i minus 30i squared changes the sign. 36 minus 30i plus 30i plus 25. So that's going to be 30 minus 86i all over 61. 36 plus 25. 61. And that doesn't reduce because no numbers go into 30, 86, and 61 all at the same time. Alrighty, so our last one, top and bottom by 4 minus 7i. So firsts would be negative 88, outsides 22 times 7 is 4, carry the 1, 154. So that's positive 154i minus 24i, and last would be plus 42i squared. On the bottom, 16 minus 28i plus 28i minus 49i squared. So negative 88 plus 154i minus 24i minus 42. On the bottom, 16 minus 28i plus 28i plus 49. So on top, negative 88 minus 42 is negative 140. And that's going to be plus 88 plus 42, 0, carry the 1, 930. Oops. So negative 130, that's positive 130i all over on the bottom. 16 plus 49, 5, carry the 1 is 65. So those are divisible by 65. That's going to be negative 2. That's going to be positive 2. And that would be my solution. And that is the end of the section.